This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. One's willingness to give is a testament to one's willingness to trust life. Giving is not natural to the ego. Giving is something that comes from a deeper state, from the true self, which is connected to all that is. When you know that you are connected to and part of all that is, it's natural to give. Giving and love naturally flow from the realization of who you really are and what life really is. When you realize that you are life and that life is giving to itself through you, then giving comes naturally. But it's not natural to humans to give in this way. What is natural to humans is what they're programmed to do, which is take care of themselves, look out for number one. It's natural to believe that scarcity prevails in this world and that you might not have if you give, when quite the opposite is true. When you give, you will have, because there is a natural law that giving must evoke the same. The opposite is also true. Withholding evokes withholding from life. Life gives you back what you put out. When you give, when you are generous of spirit, and when you love, that's what you experience inside yourself, and that also comes back to you. A loving person is someone who's loved. An unloving person is someone who is not loved. You create your reality in this way. You create your experience of reality. By being unloving, you experience a lack of love, and that draws to you the same, an ungenerosity of spirit. When you're not generous and not loving, you're vibrating at a certain level, and those who have a similar vibration are attracted to you. If you're vibrating negativity, you'll attract those who are vibrating negativity. If you're vibrating at a higher level, such as love, generosity, peace, or compassion, you'll attract those who are vibrating at that same level. Each of you lives in a world populated by people of a similar vibration, because you naturally move in circles with those who are similar to you. If you're vibrating at a higher level, those like you will be attracted to you, and you won't gravitate toward those vibrating at a lower level, except perhaps to be of service to them, to help them. When you're vibrating at a higher level, you don't say yes to everyone who comes to you. You give to those you feel moved to give to from a deeper place, and move away from those who would tend to bring you into a lower vibration and not benefit from association with you. Vibrating at a higher level doesn't mean you will mingle or serve everyone who comes your way. You'll know who you're meant to serve and who you're not meant to serve. From a place of alignment with your true self, this is clear, so you move accordingly. Those who are vibrating at a lower level have lessons with others who are vibrating at a lower level. This is one of the ways you learn to change your thoughts, behavior, and beliefs, through association with others who share the same beliefs, perceptions, and feelings. You suffer together, and at some point you see that you can wake up out of this suffering. You look around and see who's not suffering, and wonder why they're not suffering and you are. There are hells on this earth, in a sense, created by negative perceptions and incorrect beliefs. Through living in this hellish environment, people eventually learn to wake up from it. They receive feedback about their own negative beliefs and learn about them through others who share them. This is how growth is accomplished. Negativity can be turned around by beginning to trust that goodness, giving, and love are the way to peace and happiness. Not everyone is convinced of that. People are following their fears and their desires for power and material wealth. In following your ego's desires and fears, you get only that, more fear, more desires. There is no end to fear and desire. Your fear is never assuaged, and your desires are never satisfied. There are always more fears and more desires. When you follow the ego, you're never done. You're never good enough. You never have enough. Others are never good enough, and others never give you enough. There has to be another way to see life. And so there is. Fortunately, there is another way, which does bring peace, happiness, and love. The way to get peace, happiness, and love is not to look for them outside yourself, to go after them in the form of power or money. The way to get happiness, peace, and love is to be peace, happiness, and love, to find them and experience them within yourself, and then express them in the world. How do you find peace, happiness, and love within yourself when you aren't experiencing them? The only reason you wouldn't be experiencing them is because your mind is keeping you from experiencing them by telling you lies about yourself and about life. If you stop listening to the lies your egoic mind is telling you, you'll find the truth. You'll find the peace, love, and happiness within you. It's only the thoughts in your head that keep you from experiencing these. You are innately loving, but your innate nature is covered over. That's all. The goodness within you is who you are. You are goodness. Your mind tells you otherwise. It tells you what you are. I'm this, I'm that. I like this and I don't like that. I feel this way and I don't feel that way. Your mind creates a pretend self with all of these I thoughts. If you believe these thoughts, you become that limited, small imagination of a self. And when you believe yourself to be that self, you act accordingly, and other people believe you to be that self as well. This is how the false self is created, simply by all of the ideas you have about yourself. I can't do this. I'm not like that. I'm weak. I'm unworthy. I'm not good enough. I can't compete. I always fail. These thoughts create that reality. First, they create the inner experience of unworthiness, and then they create unhappiness and all the other feelings that follow from the belief, I'm not worthy. Sadness, shame, and all other negative feelings come from negative thoughts about I. You can't say a single thing about this I that would contain the whole truth about who you are. Anything you say about I, except I exist, is a lie to one extent or another, because it doesn't adequately describe who you are. Who you really are is very mysterious and capable of all sorts of things you've never dreamed of. The I is made up of imaginary beliefs you have about yourself, things others have told you about yourself, or you've imagined or concluded about yourself when you were a small and powerless child. Children naturally conclude negative things about themselves because they're not very capable as children. How could they be? They're not strong. How could they be? They're not so smart. How could they be? They don't know the ways of life yet. Children fail all the time. Children do things poorly all the time. So, dear ones, you get stuck in the past in your beliefs about yourself. You think you are still the child who can't, the child who isn't able to keep up with the adults. You carry around this image of yourself as the powerless and incapable child you once were. It's natural, of course. This happens to all children. It can't be any other way, given the way your brain works and the way culture works. These ideas become imprinted, and you believe them. You need to look at the ideas you have about yourself. You need to examine the old ideas and see how false and how inadequate they are to describe you. This is how you see through the false self. You look at the ideas you have about yourself and ask, is that true? Do I need that? Is that useful? Is that serving me? Is that serving life? It doesn't serve life for you to be limited. It serves life for you to be in touch with your fullest potential, with the love and kindness at your core, the joy at your core. This is what serves life. It serves your life, and it serves everyone else's lives. Everyone else in the whole benefits when you're aligned with your true self and not your false self. The people around you might be upset if you don't agree with their perceptions and imaginations of you, but you can't live your life as an expression of someone else's imagination. That isn't fair to you. It isn't fair to life, and it isn't even fair to them. You have to move beyond these false conceptions and be strong and courageous enough to know that you are greater than any idea you could hold about yourself. You exist as existence, as life, as love, as beingness, which is the same beingness behind all of life and behind every being. When you align with this, you'll be happy. And when you are happy, love flows. When love flows, others are happy and feel good. When they feel good, love flows from them. This is how the world is changed. You must change it within yourself first. You must become the loving being that you actually are. Know it, be it, and express it, and everything else in your life will fall into place. You don't have to figure out how you'll survive or what you'll do. All of that will unfold naturally, because this being that you are, which is behind all of life, is supremely wise and intelligent. It wants you to survive, to flourish, to be happy, to be loving, and to be at peace. And when you agree to that, it will give you everything you really want and everything you really need. I say really, because you won't necessarily receive everything your ego wants or thinks it needs, but you'll be given a beautiful life, the life you're meant to live, the life you're meant to grow and evolve from. Each of you is here for a certain reason. That life will be unfolded the more you are aligned with peace, happiness, and love. Having and living that life is happiness. When you're living the life you're meant to live, whatever that might be and however that might look, you'll be happy and content. Your soul came here to fulfill a certain purpose, and when you're doing that, you're deeply happy and deeply fulfilled, and that is enough. You won't need other things on top of that to feel all right. So much of what the ego wants is a pacifier for all the pain it feels. You won't need those pacifiers, those addictions, those pleasures to get by in life. You'll be too busy doing what you love to do. Giving is how you turn it all around from the ego's world to living in contentment, peace, and joy. Giving is the key to turning it around. Giving is a way of acknowledging that you trust the goodness within you. You trust it enough to express it, and you trust it enough to take care of you. You trust that giving is the way to live. Giving acknowledges that you believe that love is behind life, that love is the key to life. You are willing to give because you believe this. This belief is true. So many of your ego's beliefs take you in the opposite direction. But believe that giving, love, is the answer, and you'll discover that it is. You'll discover the deepest truth about life, that life is good, and that it is unfolded most beautifully by aligning with the goodness and love within you and expressing that in the world. Giving is how you align with the unfolding of your life, which is already happening. It is how you draw abundance and everything you need to you. The ego's way is the opposite, and it doesn't work very well. Just look around you and you can see that the world doesn't work very well. Going about life in a selfish, me-first way does not make the wheels of this world turn well. This causes a lot of strife, conflict, and unhappiness. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to be out for yourself. The best way to take care of yourself is to be generous, kind, compassionate, and considerate, even when others are not. You can't afford to be otherwise, really. That only causes more strife and unhappiness. This world can't afford the luxury of more pain. It can't afford to go in the direction of the ego. The way this is turned around is by turning this around within yourself, by committing to love and believing that love is the answer, that being generous of spirit is the answer to your life and to this world's problems. So please turn this around within yourselves. Turn this around. You are the only one who can do this. It is a choice you make about your beliefs. Do you believe your I thoughts? Do you believe what the ego says to you? Or do you believe that love and goodness are the answer? You choose. Your choice determines your experience and the experience in the world. What to believe is a choice. When you're as conscious as you are, and certainly you are, or you wouldn't be listening to this, you are conscious enough to choose. Not everyone is, but you are conscious enough to choose. So you must do that. It falls on you to do that.